Hi there, this is Sags We're on Women, brought to you courtesy of wrongthinkradio.com. So this morning I was doing my usual drink coffee and look over feminist news articles and feminist social media posts just because I like to see how fucking crazy these people can be, and trust me, they very rarely disappoint, when I stumbled upon a gem that I somehow managed to miss. So this article was put out April 26th, and it comes from Live Kindly, and the article was titled, Natalie Portman May Have Just Turned 16,000 Students into Vegan Feminists. Okay, I doubt that happened. So, Natalie Portman delivered a speech at the We Day California, and I don't know what that is, but according to this article, it is a celebrity-packed celebration of youth activism. Sounds like a grand time. Now, during her speech, Natalie Portman stated, "Only after I became active in women's issues did I realize that my veganism was related to those very issues. Dairy and eggs don't just come from cows and chickens, they come from female cows and female chickens. We're exploiting female bodies and abusing the magic of female animals to create eggs and milk." Now, of course, she goes on to say how these animals are kept in prison-like conditions, the female cows are separated from their children to create milk, and things along those lines. I grew up on a farm, okay? I know there's some people out there that don't like to eat animal products or animal byproducts because they just care about the animals. I disagree, okay? To me, a vegan feminist is just honestly a double whammy at this point. Now, when female cows are separated from their young, generally the young are raised, because if they weren't, there would be no more fucking cows, but this is apparently missed. What about plants? See, the same thing applies to plants, and a lot of people don't realize this. Plants are also kept in prison-like conditions, if you think about it. I mean, they're confined, at least the plants in my gardens are. I have raised garden beds, I have small greenhouses, things along those lines. My plants aren't allowed to thrive and grow as large as they would like. I also cull them out. So when I plant seeds, I take the little seedlings and the ones that are weak, I cut them off at the base. I essentially murder them because they're just not big and just not strong enough. Now, I don't think the vegans would have a problem with this, but, I mean, come on. If you really care about every living thing, you really wouldn't be able to do so unless you were willing to starve. That's not really what I wanted to talk about, though. I wanted to talk about the fact that she uses female bodies as what is being exploited here. You know, when I was a kid in second grade, I learned about plant reproduction and plants having pistils and stamens and things along those lines, and I understood the difference between a fruit and a vegetable. But I wanted to refresh my memory as to what the actual difference between a fruit and a vegetable was. That being said, I took to the internet and Encyclopedia Britannica, Live Science, multiple sites spell it out pretty clearly what the difference between a fruit and a vegetable is. And I thought I would go ahead and share that with you now. According to Live Science, botanically speaking, a fruit is a seed-bearing structure that develops from the ovary of a flowering plant, whereas vegetables are all other plant parts, such as roots, leaves, and stems. I'm going to read that first part one more time, very slowly. Botanically speaking, a fruit is a seed-bearing structure that develops from the ovary of a flowering plant. The ovary of a flowering plant. Now, call me fucking crazy, but I don't know of any men that are walking around with ovaries. Yeah. That being said, wouldn't that make fruits female? Wouldn't that mean if a vegan feminist were to eat, I don't know, a fruit salad after giving a stupid fucking speech to youth activists, she may not be taking her activism quite that seriously. Start thinking about other things that vegans eat, because vegans like to eat seeds, and they like to eat tofu, and they like to eat beans and legumes and things along those lines. And I thought, you know what? What are those things? Let's start with beans. A bean is a seed. Beans are seeds. So soybeans are a type of seed. Well, what's a seed? A seed is a product of the ripened ovary after fertilization by pollen. And some grow within the mother plant. Yep, they grow within the mother plant. So I guess eating seeds is out, because if you do so, you are abusing the magic of a female plant's ability to be able to create seeds. What about a legume? A legume. Legumes are alfalfa, clovers, chickpeas, beans, lentils, peas, lupins, mesquite, carob, soybeans, peanuts, and tamarind. Legumes are fruits or seeds. You know what that means? They're female. They are female. How about grain? How about grain? Well, hate to break it to you, but grain is a small, hard, dry seed. Holy shit. These vegan feminists are exploiting every female creature you can possibly think of. Right? I mean, they're not exploiting the animals, but I mean, if they're eating anything other than vegetables, the other parts of the plant, they are exploiting females. Yes. Now, of course, I'm saying this all tongue-in-cheek. I don't believe any of this shit because I don't believe in veganism, like I said. It's right up there with feminism in my book. But I just wanted to point out what, in my opinion, seems to be pretty fucking hypocritical. So, yes, I just thought I would throw that out there. So, for any vegan feminists out there, have a grand time with your vegetables. You know, you can eat things like beets, turnips, potatoes, leaves. Squash is out. Tomatoes are out. Corn is out. Those are fruits. I looked it up. Those are also fruits. You can have Brussels sprouts, though. And if you're feeling really crazy, you can go ahead and throw some celery and broccoli in there for shits and giggles. I don't know how any of this is going to taste, though, since you'd be exploiting female bodies if you were to put something like, oh, I don't know, fucking butter on it to give it any flavor. But what do I know? So again, I just wanted to throw that out. Now, for any of you thinking to yourselves, well, how sad for these poor feminists. They're not going to be able to sustain themselves because they can only eat vegetables. You're wrong, because there's one other thing that feminists eat and have always eaten and will continue to eat that will sustain them forever and ever. And that thing is each other. And that's that. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like it and subscribe to it and share it with your friends. If you want more hard-hitting content from the right side of things, check out wrongthinkradio.com. I'm Sag Novotny, and this is my war on women.